Peace and power, family. Welcome back to Unto Re with B, where we're talking about my artist way journey. And it is week 6, y'all. Recovering a sense of abundance. And this week is all about your relationship with money. But it starts off talking about the great creator, which is like the term she uses for God, spirit, universe, whatever you want to call it. But I appreciate her using that term, the great creator. One, because it directly relates to creativity, right? And God is the greatest creator of all, but also because so many people have so many names, ideas, experiences of God that I really appreciate that neutrality, I guess it is. But she was talking about how we don't believe that God is a God who wants us to be artists. We believe that our God is a limiting God and that he would never, he, she, they, whatever, would never um, bless us with abundance if we dedicated our lives to creativity. And I don't even know if that's a real belief of mine. It's actually one of the tasks to journal about it in our morning pages this week. And I'm excited to figure out like what I really feel about that. But it's so interesting because the idea that God wants us to be what we want to be, right? So the purpose that God has for our life is the thing that we want to do, not the thing that we do for survival. I really enjoy that idea. I really enjoy that idea. And maybe it's not one that I have held like deeply in my spirit and my soul outside of helping people, right? Like the only thing that I have really been like, there will be no limits on my ability to do this is when I was doing everything to get to and through law school, right? I really thought that that was my purpose on this earth, was to help people through the law and social work. And I did everything I could. There was no doubt in my mind. Literally, I was proving to the entire world that you could be a lawyer and a social worker and won't nothing gonna stop me. And it's so interesting how I do not have that same energy about being a creative. And it's just interesting, and I'm interested in exploring that and why that is and how that shows up in my creative journey and in my creative life. And I know that one way is them artist days. Like it really does feel quote unquote unproductive for me to take 2 hours to myself to just lean into play, lean into creativity outside of creating for creating as labor, you know? So this week is going to be interesting because I also do recognize that I have a survival slash scarcity mindset, right? Like I come from a low income family, and we don't waste. Like we real serious about our money. And I have been trying to move past this understanding of money into a more abundant mindset, as it's called. And it's been a journey. It's been a lifelong journey at this point. So I'm very interested to see how I navigate this week. But that's really all I got because that's really all she talked about. The first thing was the great creator. The second thing was you need to fix your relationship with money, and then it was like task. So I want to read for y'all one of my favorite Doechii songs. Y'all know I'm a Doechii stan, even though she getting called out for yelling at her peoples at the Met Gala, which we ain't even supposed to be supporting anyway. But she has a song called God, right? That she put out in 2020. And I think this is when she was doing the artist journey. So I think it's I literally like pulled from her own like vlogs that she did around the artist way. So it goes, the name of the song is God. And it goes, and I wrote down, we must come to recognize that God is an unlimited supply and that everyone has access. God does not run out of blessings. Someone else receiving a gift from God is not one taken away from me. And I want to apply this and practice this in my daily life. Thank you. Receiving God's good is an act of worship, and cooperating with God's plan will manifest goodness in your life. God has lots of money. God has lots of song ideas, lyrics, strategies, acting jobs, lovers, friends, houses, etc. That is available to me. And by listening to the Creator within, I will be led through the right path. And on this path, I will find meaningful work. And that was huge for me, especially recognizing that God is an unlimited supply. There is no limitations. There's an unlimited supply of creative energy in me. There's an unlimited supply of opportunities around me, and jobs and lyrics and ideas and visions. And really accepting this is a huge change, because I think that in the beginning of my weeks, I was talking about how one of my fears and creative blocks, a negative self-belief that I had, was that I would be a one-hit wonder, or I could only write one really good song or write one really good album. And that's because I'm limiting my beliefs, not on myself, but on my source. If I am a product of the greatest artist of all time, which is God, if I am a product of the original creator and he has an unlimited supply of creative energy, that means I have access to an unlimited supply of creative energy. I have an unlimited supply of lyrics and songs and visions and jobs and money and houses. And I have that. I have access to an unlimited supply. And just really accepting that and really tapping into it and really practicing it has shifted my whole mode and how I want to move forward. Now, with that being said, I also came to the realization that if I have access to it, and if I am a product of the greatest artist of all time, and he created everybody on this planet, everybody has the same access. Everybody has access to this source. And I love this. And I used to listen to it all the time because I needed a mindset shift. But the idea around unlimited supply and how everybody has access to it is something that I wanted to lift up for this video, because it's not, I'm not doing this just because I feel like it. Even though that's a really big reason why I'm doing it, I'm doing this because I hope that it can help someone else. I hope that it can open up the doors for somebody else. And I hope somebody else can feel like they can experience and navigate their journey, however it shows up for them. And something I've been talking about is around just like how sometimes I have a hard time completing the task, and especially the artist date. And in the introduction of the book, Julia Cameron says, like, don't worry about doing it all. Do what feels right, or do what you have the most resistance around. Like, focus on that. Like, don't focus on doing it all, right? And the perfectionist in us wants to do all the things. Like, she's giving us like 10 and 12 tasks a week, and an artist day and morning pages. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I really felt a way when I wasn't doing everything, and recognizing that I don't have to do everything, and that there's an unlimited supply, a source that can provide me with everything I need to do what I need to do, just feels so good. And I wanted to share that with you all. So that's what we got today, y'all. We're going to see what shifts and what changes and what ideas come up in this week around recovering a sense of abundance. And I hope that you come back on Tuesday to check in with me. All right, y'all. Stay safe.